we're jumping on today to talk about recognizing patterns.
Yes, because both of us have recently recognized some pretty crazy patterns.
Constantly. Like for me, since I started this journey, this epic journey last November, it's just been a constant like recognizing patterns constantly. They just keep coming up. And sometimes it'll be the same pattern and it'll pop up in a new, fun and interesting way.
Yeah, for sure.
Very sneaky, aren't they?
Yeah. But I guess, like, where do we start?
Let's start with, why do we want to recognize our patterns?
Yes.
What does recognizing your patterns do for you? What's the point of it? Why should we bother?
Yeah. Well, I guess recognizing patterns, like, you can then, like, once you recognize it, you can then decide if it serves you or not. Is it a pattern that serves you, or is it not? And then because you're able to recognize it more so from a perspective of, like, observation rather than being stuck in the story.
Yes.
When you get into that, I guess, observation.
I like to call it stuck on the roundabout.
Yeah.
So when you're running the pattern, you're literally stuck on the roundabout and you're just going around and around and around. You're not getting anywhere.
Yeah.
So when you recognize it, you then have all these exits pop up on the roundabout and you can choose.
Make a choice. So, like, from what I know, what do I choose?
Yeah.
Because you're looking at it and you can see the belief that's driving that pattern or that action, and then you can decide, does that serve me? Do I want to keep doing this? Do I want to keep going around this roundabout?
Yeah.
Or do I want to take one of the exits?
Do I want to make an exit? Like,
Yeah.
What exit do I want to make?
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So that's the beauty in recognizing your patterns, really. It's creating that awareness.
Yeah, 100%. Because that's the first step in, I guess, breaking the cycle or breaking, like you said, creating the exit. That's the first step, is becoming aware. And, like, I can honestly say that lately I have been really struggling because I've seen a lot of patterns but done nothing about it because I've been so stuck in my story. But the fact that I can see them is the first step, and I've been so frustrated with myself because I'm like, I know I'm doing this, but I'm not fucking changing it. Like, you're better than this, Caitlin. What the fuck is wrong with you? But see how it then creates its own little cycle of, like, this belief.
So do you want to share with us then? We'll take turns. We've each got a pattern to share a story, and I'm going to push Katie first.
Yeah. Well, I wonder why you're pushing me first. Anyway, so we've recently had a few patterns pop up, and mine, for some of you, if you've seen my Insta or Facebook story recently, I talk about the stairs and how I was avoiding cardio because I, don't know where to look. I've been, avoiding cardio because my fitness has gone down, and I mean, like, when you are unfit and you're doing cardio, it fucking sucks, right?
Feels like death.
You can choose for it to suck, but it's hard. It's uncomfortable.
It's hard. I think whether you choose or not, it's going to be fucking hard.
But it can be uncomfortable and you can love it, or it can be uncomfortable and you can be like, oh my God, this sucks.
You can choose what you make it mean.
Yes,
to
exactly.
you, and what you make it mean about you.
Yes.
Do you make it mean, oh, I suck, I'm a fat shit, and I'm just a piece of shit because this is so hard.
Or, like, even looking at it like, oh my God, I used to be able to do this and now I'm here and I'm struggling, and, I used to be able to kill this, and look at me, I suck now.
Or choosing, fuck, look at me, I showed up today, I gave it my best for today, I gave my 100% right now, and it feels fucking awesome.
And realizing that, like for me, it was also like, okay, well, first of all, so I did the KP stairs with my boot campers, and, I was in so much resistance, but I knew that I had to do it because I was in resistance to it.
Yeah,
and because I know that I love this shit. It's just that I've been sitting in this space of, you're a fat shit, like, basically, and not taking care of myself.
So that's the belief.
Yeah.
That's the story.
But so, like, I finally did it, and instead of doing 10, I did 12, which, 10's usually where I'm at. So I was kind of, like, also surprised, like, pleasantly surprised. But what that pattern also showed up for me in another way. And that pattern, basically, I know that seems like nothing, like, you know, oh, you did a couple of fucking stairs, whoop-de-doo. But the pattern is that I avoid things that are uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And
who else avoids things that feel uncomfortable?
Fucking yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like so many of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
But so I avoid things that are uncomfortable, and this came up in an interaction with someone where okay, so let's say I'm interacting with people, like I will go out of my way to avoid putting myself out there, opening up, being vulnerable, putting myself in a position where I could be rejected. And in this instance, I wanted something, and I was in a lot of resistance to ask for it because, oh my God, what if they reject me? What if they say no? And so I did it. I, you know, reached out and asked for what I wanted. And they replied.
Yep. I was part of this convo. So
yeah. So their reply was like, oh, well, why do you want to do that? And instantly, I've screenshot, I've sent it to Lauren, and I'm like, well, they fucking go. They don't want to, like, you know, they don't want to do this, so...
They've rejected me, Lauren.
Like, yeah, they rejected me. Like, this is why I don't fucking do this shit. Like, fucking hell. Now I feel so, like, uncomfortable.
Yeah, so she was on the roundabout.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, going round and round.
Yeah.
And not getting anywhere.
And then Lauren pointed out, no, they didn't reject you. They actually just asked for clarification. And so what I want to point out here is that I was seeing from my lens. So my lens was, or like my perception was that if I reach out and am vulnerable, that, you know, I can be rejected or it can be uncomfortable, and that's why I don't do it. But the reason that I think that is because I have this belief that, you know, it's really a lot of things that stem down into this one belief of, like, I'm a terrible person, I'm broken, there is something wrong with me, I'm not lovable, I'm not worthy of love. Like, it all just kind of, like, squishes into this one belief.
Yeah, so you noticed the pattern, and then she explored the beliefs underneath it. What
Yeah.
are the beliefs that are creating this pattern, this cycle?
But then can you see as well, like, the same thing, I was looking at from my lens of, I'm not a good person, he's gonna, or they are gonna reject me. It's all good. Yeah.
So it's a he.
Yes.
Let's just highlight that.
Yeah, okay. So they're going to reject me, and then it's going to be uncomfortable, and then it's going to confirm this belief that I'm a terrible person, I'm broken, there's something wrong with me, people don't love me, etc., 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 blah, blah, blah. Like, it keeps going. But so I was seeing it from that lens, and so them asking for clarification for me, because it wasn't an instant yes, I've seen it through that lens and been like, well, I'm fucking rejected, walls up, like, I'm done, I'm out, tapping out, like, you know, ready to just fucking push this away, pretend it's not there, move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
And then Lauren was like, well, no.
He asked for clarity.
Yeah, like, they've just asked for clarity on, like, why do you want to do this? And they have a right to ask for that. And I just want to point out that what I then did was, like, and this was from Lauren's suggestion, is I did, like, some journaling. I sat with it, like, because I was like, fuck, like, because I thought I had been rejected. I sat with it and I was like, fuck, I feel so angry at him. I'm angry at me for fucking putting myself out there, and now look at me, I got hurt. Like, why? And so, like, I sat with all of that. I sat through the discomfort, and then I was like, okay, so what am I making this mean about me? And I was making it mean that because they rejected me, I'm not lovable, I'm a terrible person, I'm broken, there's something wrong with me. Again, all of that came up. And I was like, okay, is that true? No, it's not. Like, I am not a bad person. I have done bad things, and I've done good things. And there are other people out there who have done bad things and are not a bad person. Like, they're not bad people. You know, we all do good and bad things, right? You know, can anyone who's watching say that they've never done something bad?
And if you can, I would really like to know.
yeah, exactly.
You must be a deity.
Yeah. And am I broken? Is there something wrong with me? No, there's not. And then I sat with, like, okay, well, what am I most scared of? And I was most scared of rejection, right? I was the most scared that I would get rejected and it would hurt my ego. Let's be honest, it was going to hurt my ego. Yeah. And then I was like, okay, so they reject me. My ego's hurt. What then happens? I fucking move on with life.
She doesn't die.
Yeah, like I was fine before I started talking to them. I'll be fine after I start talking to them. It's as simple as that. So it just kind of like I built up this fear of what was going to happen if they rejected me and what it made it mean about me. And then I just sat with it and I was like, is that true? And is what I'm most afraid of, is that, like, do I need to be afraid of that? No. And it just like dissipated. And now I look at it and I'm like, oh my God.
How did it feel when it dissipated?
Hilarious.
Like, how did it feel?
It just felt lighter.
Light,
Yeah, like it felt so much lighter. And I was able to see this pattern in like because what you do in one area, you do in all. And so then I saw it with the stairs. I saw it with my training. I was like, I've been avoiding it because it's fucking uncomfortable. Like I've been smashing the strength because I've been killing it. Like I've been improving and lifting heavy. And so I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna keep doing this because I know I'm killing it.
Fuck yeah.
And whereas the cardio's fallen off and I was like, well, I'm not gonna do it now because it's gonna fucking hurt.
Yeah. And when you realised that with the stairs, did it still feel lighter?
Yes. And like if you watch my Insta story, like the joy that I felt after it, I was like, fucking, this is what I've been missing out on. This is what I've been robbing myself of, is this fucking joy. And like the same with this instance, like where, I was holding on to this story and going around this roundabout. And so like blocking myself off from having, opening up and being vulnerable and asking for what I wanted. I was robbing myself of A, getting what I wanted, and B, like just allowing myself to be open. Instead I've been like just so closed off and like walls up and blocked off, which means that I'm blocked off from everything. I'm not just blocked off from the uncomfortable, I'm blocked off from all those fucking amazing emotions as well. Like I'm blocked off from expressing and receiving love. Like I'm blocked off from joy. Like
pleasure.
Yeah, like all of it.
Yeah.
Like fuck.
And
it's just been this huge like
boom. You're like going through it again. You're like and one more question is, which one takes more energy? The story or
oh my God, the
release?
Story for sure. Like
the story takes way more energy.
Because it's so much suffering. Like you're sitting there in suffering as you're going through it.
And you're creating it
and
for
you're
yourself.
Choosing it.
Yeah, you're putting energy into creating that story and that suffering for yourself.
Yeah.
And when you released it and you felt lighter, you made space and you were lighter because there was less energy going into that. It just happened naturally.
Yeah.
You deserve that.
Yeah.
Fuck yes! Woo! Love it.
It was so like uncomfortable for like that little period of time because I was like so angry and so frustrated and so upset and like so hurt. And in the end I wasn't even fucking rejected anyway.
Yeah. So good, right? So beautiful.
Yeah.
And I love that. And we were discussing this just before, how we love every time that a resistance pops up or every time that a pattern, gets triggered and comes into play and we become aware of it and we're like, fuck! And we're sitting in these uncomfortable emotions and all this resistance and all this fear and it builds and it gets to a peak. And then you're up there on the peak and you fucking look down at it all and you see it all and you release it all and it feels so fucking good.
And it's so funny because you're looking down on it and you're like,
it becomes hilarious.
Yeah, and you like it's kind of like as you're going round the roundabout, you can't see the exits, and then you get up there and you're like looking down, you're like, there are all these fucking exits. Everywhere. Like what?
And it's hilarious. And it's like, I like look down at and I'm like, look at what you were doing there, Lauren. Yeah. That's hilarious.
Look at what you created for yourself. And good work. Yeah. You got to reaffirm that belief.
Yeah. It's so
now
funny.
You're done with
so
that.
Good.
Cool. Let's move on.
It feels so good. Like I actually love it when that pops up, and it's so uncomfortable at the time. And I'm like, fuck this.
Yes.
But I fucking love it.
And I just want to say that like a huge thank you to Lauren. Because, I reached out to her, which is a big thing for me. I never usually reach out to people or share because that's opening and that's being vulnerable and that's, putting me in a position where I could get rejected or hurt or not validated or whatever. And I reached out, and she just put it into perspective, and you know, and then gave me some ideas. You know, go journal, like sit with that,
sit in that discomfort.
Yeah.
Experience those emotions.
Yes. So like I really appreciate that.
Oh,
like it helped me so much.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm so happy for you. You did an amazing job. So good.
But so like, and the reason I said that is like reach out to people.
Absolutely.
Reach out and talk about it, because the more that you talk about it, the less big it is.
Yeah.
Like it's, you know, when you internalize it, you think like, you know, you're wrapping your thoughts around it and you're just going in this circle and it's just getting bigger and bigger and more intense.
Yeah.
And then you talk about it, you let it out, you release it, and it kind of like, again, you kind of externalize it. You step back and see it. And it's almost like as you're saying the stuff, you're like, oh, fuck.
And this is something I talk about with my clients quite regularly, there's an aspect of when you're not sharing it with anyone and you're doing that whole push it away, push it aside, pushing it down, and you're not acknowledging it, you're not experiencing it because it's uncomfortable. So when you're doing that, you're not owning it. And when you talk to someone, you tell them, you literally just voice it. It's like
you own it.
You're picking it up and you're owning it. And because you've picked it up, you can now let it go.
Yeah.
Because you can't let it go if you haven't fucking picked it up in the first place.
Yeah.
And I talk about this with my clients all the time, and there is so much power in that. There is so much power in owning it. And one of the simplest ways to do that is to reach out to someone and say, fuck, this has happened, this is what I'm going through, this is what I'm thinking, this is what I'm feeling. Like just pick up those feelings and thought patterns that are running. Like you don't have to get a solution, you don't have to get an outcome. Just pick it up and own them and be like, this is it.
And I get it. Like I get that it can be scary. Like I get that it can be scary to voice the emotions or the thoughts, you know, especially if you think that there's something wrong with you and like that, oh my God, I shouldn't be having these thoughts. There isn't fucking, like, there is no wrong or right when it comes to your thoughts or your emotions. Like, you're freaking human.
They're just feelings, and they might be in you, but they are not of you.
Yes. It's like if I was to feel jealous, if I was to feel angry.
Yeah,
or
she's feeling it. She is not
but
jealousy.
I am not jealous.
She is not angry.
It's like my belief of like, you know, like our belief of we're a bad person. And it's like, well, we've done bad things. We've also done good things.
Yeah.
Like, because we've done bad things, does that make us a bad person? No.
We are all infinite love.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
So now it's Lauren's turn to share.
All right. So Lauren's recent pattern that she uncovered. Well, mine wasn't even so much like, it was a pattern, and it was underneath it. It was the belief. It was a belief that I uncovered that has been sitting there for ages, and I've been slowly releasing a lot of these beliefs, but they still pop up in little insidious ways, and I'm like, oh, that was there. Oh, that's my joy alarm. I choose joy. Let it move you. Yes! Sorry, that was my joy alarm, and I just had to drop into joy very quickly there, which wasn't too hard because I'm feeling pretty freaking light today anyway. So last week I had an opportunity to have sex, really. And to give a little context, I know, lucky me. To give a little context to that, as all of you, or most of you who are watching would know this, I am a single mum of 4. You know, I don't go out partying on the weekends. I am recently experiencing, actually opening myself up to that side of me again. And even in some ways, it's not even reconnecting, it's actually just fucking allowing that which I have never allowed before. And that is for me to be a sensual being, and for me to have like loving and soulful and sexual connections without needing to be committed or exclusive. That is something that I'm exploring for myself, and it's something that feels right and good for me.
Get it, girl.
Get it, yeah. Yeah, so I had an opportunity to get it. And then Mama Nature raised her little head and said, oh, wait there, Lauren. And I had my period. So no sex was had. Yes. And I spent the following week prepping for a fast. And in the prepping phase of this fast, it involved eating a keto diet with lots and lots of fats. And the whole process of that prep, I'm like shoving all the avocado and all the salmon and all the greens into my mouth, and I'm just sitting like a cranky little child and just going, I just want to eat fucking chocolate. I just want brownie. I don't want this fucking healthy shit. I just want to shove all the bad shit into my mouth. And literally the thought was there, at least one hole will be getting filled then. So I was really cranky, right? And so then,
why did you want to eat all the shit food?
Why did I want to eat all the shit food? Because I wanted to fill a hole. Because I wanted a feeling. I wanted that feeling of fullness, of being filled. Anyway, so then it was like, well, what emotion is underneath that? And emotion is energy in motion. So what emotion was underneath that? The main emotion was sexual emotion. And for me, this is really mind-blowing. How many of you have actually thought of sexual feelings as an emotion, right? Which it is. Sexual emotion, so sexual energy in and around your body. So that was the main feeling there, was all of this sexual emotion. I want to be fucking filled. It's not happening, so I'm just going to shove all the food in my face instead. So yes, Lauren is human. She does tend to want to emotionally eat too.
Yeah.
Don't we all?
But it's like you choose not to though. Like,
yeah, I choose not to. I'm very conscious of it.
Not to.
So I was conscious of, okay, I've got all this sexual emotion, and instead of being able to fulfill it, I'm just shoving food into my face.
Instead of filling that hole, I'm going to fill the other.
I'm going to fill another hole. I want a fucking hole filled. And then underneath that emotion was anger and frustration. Frustration that it's not happening, and anger that it didn't happen. And anger, there was a little anger at myself there that now he's not going to want to connect with me again. Yeah, so that popped up, and then I was like, interesting. That's really uncomfortable. Let's dive deeper into that. So why are you telling yourself he's not going to want to connect with you again? So I explored that really deeply, and what came up for me was something that I got told a lot growing up. Guys only want one thing. Guys only want you for sex. They're only interested in you for sex. That's all they want.
Yeah. And how many of us have heard that? Whether it's, from parents, from friends, from
school, any religion, culture that you're engaged in. So we're in a very sexually suppressed society.
And let's be honest, like quite often that is said to females as a way to like, oh, you shouldn't have sex with them because they only want you for sex. So if you give it to them, they're not going to want you anymore.
Yeah. So I realized that was a story and a pattern that was running for me right then, and I was feeling frustrated and angry because I was like, oh my God, I didn't get to have sex and now he's not going to want me anymore. Boom, that fucking like blew me open, and I was like, wow. And I explored that very deeply. And, there is a lot of sexual repression and beliefs that were instilled in me at a very young age around sex being bad, or sex only being for love and marriage. And like I said earlier, right now I'm in a place where I'm exploring sex the way I want to explore it, what it means to me. And I do not merge sex and love as one thing. For me, love is connection. And I love love. Like I walk around I have love for every human being on the planet. And I love exploring my different connections with different human beings. For me, sex is sex. And it is about connection, but it doesn't have to be love. It doesn't have to be an exclusive relationship. It doesn't have to be a committed relationship. It definitely doesn't have to be marriage. So that's what's true for me, and that's what I've always held as true for me in my body. That's what I've always felt. And because of some of the things I was taught growing up around culture and religion, that, sex is only for love and marriage, and it's only for reproduction, sorry.
Shit, son, I feel like this place is going to fall apart.
Sorry, keep going. We're not in danger. So because of all that, I thought I was a bad person because I wanted something else. So that popped up, this whole, all these underlying beliefs that were creating this pattern of, fuck, he's not going to want me if I don't have sex with him.
Yeah.
And, I saw that and was like, so fucking interesting. That was really uncomfortable to get right down to that bottom of the well there. And then I was able to, look down and be like, fuck, that is hilarious. That is so funny that you thought that, Lauren. And regardless of whether he would still want me or not, I love and respect me.
Yep.
And I want me. So I'm all good there. And I did, you know, have a conversation with a few people about this and the person in question. And, you know, it's so good. And I even explored, when it came up for me, I was like, shit, am I looking at exploring multiple lovers and not committing to one and not being exclusive to one? Am I doing that because I think I'm not deserving of more? Is it because of that belief that they only want sex from me?
Yeah.
So I even started questioning, like, these huge things that I'm exploring right now, and I was like, fuck.
Which is so good,
right?
To find your truth, you need to
you need to know yourself.
And
you need to explore, and you need to dive into those shadows, dive into that discomfort, lean into that resistance, find your edge, and fucking get off there. Get off there. And I explored that, and I was like, well, no, because all the people that I have connected with as lovers recently, they have all been in a capacity of having a really soulful connection with them. And that being said, none of them have had sex with me and then run away.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not happened, which is funny.
But one thing that I really wanted to revisit there was you talked about, okay, and you know, even if they did run away and that was it, it's like, okay, so what
would I make that mean about myself?
Yeah,
Do
and
I make it mean,
what am I scared of? It's kind of for me, it was you know, the rejection and your ego getting hurt, and it's like, okay, well, can I accept myself? Can I accept?
Do you reject yourself or accept yourself?
Yeah, exactly. It's like okay, well, I'm seeking acceptance from this person.
Yeah.
And if I don't get that, I'm going to make it mean, I could make it mean this. But instead, could I seek acceptance from myself so that I'm fulfilled whether they accept me or not?
Yeah. So for me, that fear of they only want one thing for me, and what do I actually have to offer men? What do I have to offer men other than sex? What do I have to bring to the table?
Yeah.
Well, then it's well, what do I have to offer myself?
Yes.
Do I have more than just sex to offer? Do I have a deeper connection to offer myself? Well, fuck yes, I do.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So
search, then kind of seeking what it is that you're actually looking from that.
Yeah.
From that other person that you're trying to get externally.
Yeah.
Figuring out what that is.
How can you bring
and then how can you bring that to yourself?
Yeah. How can you bring what you're seeking from someone else? How can you bring that external?
Another thing that
to internal.
Yeah. Another thing that we talked about was seeking, feeling wanted by guys makes is a way that I was or have validated myself or my beauty, because I've previously not viewed myself as someone who is attractive at all. I've really struggled to see that.
Which is a whole nother pattern and set of beliefs.
Yes.
Not enough time for that today.
Yeah. We won't dive into that today. But so instead of that's where I can lean into that, and instead of seeking the validation externally, that's where I need to internally dive deep and can I find myself beautiful or attractive? How can I make how can I find that feeling of feeling beautiful?
Yeah,
from
how
myself.
Can you bring it to yourself rather than seeking it
rather
from other
than
people?
need that hit from other people.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, when you need that hit from other people or hit externally, you're never going to be fulfilled because you can't control what's external to you. I can't fucking control other people's reactions to me.
Or their experience of you.
Yeah.
Or their emotions. You have no control over that, so you're never going to get filled from an external source.
Exactly. So
literally,
seek to fulfill yourself from inside, from you.
Yeah.
You have everything you need.
You are the only thing you have control over. Yeah, I love that. Thank you for bringing it to that. Good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that before.
Yeah.
So, those were just some recent patterns that we noticed, and when we dug into them, we unearthed these amazing beliefs that are from so long ago, and multiple times. These beliefs have popped up for me in different ways, multiple times, in different ways.
Yeah.
And every time they pop up, it's just a new way for me to just let it go.
Yeah. And the more that you start to let it go, the more that belief starts to get like smaller and smaller.
Yeah, and then you step into yourself as a sovereign being, and you, like I said, like when Caitlin was talking about not getting that external, whatever it is you're looking for externally, really ties into like what I'm all about at the moment, which is self-service.
Yeah.
Literally bringing all your experiences
all of that
to yourself.
Joy, love, like, you know, anything that you want to experience, you can choose to like experience that within yourself, like from yourself.
Serve it to yourself.
Yeah.
And then you have more to bring to all your external relationships.
Yes.
And that could be a relationship with a lover. It could be a relationship with your children. It could be a relationship with your friends. It could be a relationship with your work colleagues. It could be your relationship to money or your relationship to travel. So when you serve yourself first and you fill up your cup, it's going to overflow out into all those other relationships.
And you should be giving from that overflow, not from your cup. You don't give from your cup because that cup needs to be full. And if it's not, then like what you like, you're giving yourself.
Yes.
Like, does that make sense?
Absolutely. So that's,
I feel like that was a bit.
That is what self-service is all about.
Yeah.
Service the fuck out of yourself, guys, because you fucking deserve it.
Yes. And you will notice, that your relationship with other people, like with everything, is so much more. Like, you can give so much more when your cup is full.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of last year, I fucking, like, was filling my cup, and I felt like I've never felt that way before. I felt like a goddess that was, like, so full of love. And I've never felt that way before. I can honestly say I've never felt that way before.
Like, I did a live, like, a week or two ago, and I said, like, you think you've heard of self-love? You think you know what it is? I thought I knew, and what I am experiencing now is, like, I can't even put it into words. It's so much better. It is beyond what I ever could have imagined. Yeah. Because I fucking, every single day, like...
It's showing yourself self-love, and then...
I love and respect myself so much.
And then once you start to fill your cup, you can, like, create this relationship of love and compassion towards yourself. And then you're able to, like, tap into knowing your worth. Knowing your worth, and because you've then got that sense of self-worth, like it all just kind of cycles in. It's its own little fucking cycle.
Like when that old belief popped up of, what do I have to offer other than sex? But right now, I'm like, I have fucking everything to offer. I am the fucking universe. Like, I literally, that is like one of my things that I say, I am love. I am the universe. Like, I fucking love it. And I have had the experience too. So I've been working on filling my cup up. And I've had the experience, actually, of seeing it overflow into some of the cups around me, into some of the relationships around me. It's fucking beautiful. Yeah. Like, oh, my God, I can't describe the feeling that I get when I see that happen. Yeah. And I see someone else around me get a little of that overflow, and then they bloom, they start to open, and
yeah. And then it kind of like fills your cup up a little bit more.
It does. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's the most amazing thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, well,
I think that's us.
Patterns, recognizing your patterns.
We'd love to know, guys, like, you know, if you find this useful. We'd love to know if you feel open to sharing. Maybe not in the comments, like if it's a bit too personal, you can always message us directly.
Yeah. Or if you have a pattern, something you're stuck with.
Yes.
If you are finding yourself on that roundabout,
if you're on
and
the
you're
roundabout,
like, fuck,
and you know
I just
you're
want
on
to
the
get off,
roundabout,
and I don't know how to get off.
Yes.
Reach out to us, guys.
Yes.
We are both fully trained, available coaches now.
Yes.
And we'd love to help you create your
definitely.
own exit from the roundabout. Because that's what we're all about. We want you to create the best, like, beyond what you could dream of exit, and fucking take it.
Yeah.
That's what we've been doing.
Because you fucking deserve it. And you might not be able to see that right now. Or maybe you do. But
your soul does. Like, your soul sees it. Your soul knows it. Whether you want to acknowledge that or not.
Exactly. Yeah.
So if you've got something you're stuck, a pattern, a loop, a roundabout,
then reach out.
You want to let go of some beliefs that aren't serving you anymore. Yeah, we'd love to hear from you. Yeah. All right, with much love and bliss and blessings.
Love you guys. Mwah.